Jordan's wilderness recalled the many civilizations created by mankind. Nature, with past stories to tell, reminded me that humans are a mere temporary existence. During the last part of my trip through Jordan, I will search for Jordan's culture that comes from history. Jordan is the most open of the Middle East countries. Many traders and merchants have come and gone along the King's Highway. And the people of today follow in their footsteps without destroying their legacy. The Jordanian culture has become richer with time. I will be meeting Jordan's spirit today. Jordan is an Arab kingdom located in the north of the Arabian Peninsula. Various cultures ranging from ancient to modern overlap in the city of Amman. The city is still dark. This is a good hour to imagine how Amman began in history. I am climbing towards the hill where Amman was founded. In ancient times, the city must have been forests and fields. Amman first began upon this habitation-friendly hill. And it was developed for thousands of years to become what it is today.
보통 도시를 만들 때는 그 능선을 좀 깎아가지고 어느 정도 평탄화 작업을 한다고 할까요? 그렇게 해서 도시가 만들어지는데 암만 같은 경우는 이 능선의 모양을 그대로 해서 높고 낮음을 그대로 이용해서 자연을 거스르지 않고 건물들 그 위에 쌓아나온 것 같아서 애니메이션에서 보는 그런 집들을 보는 것 같다고 할까요?
I can see Amman's history under the rising sun. It is ready to tell the story of people who lived here before. King Herod built a temple for Hercules. And the Byzantine people built many churches. Afterwards, mosques and fortresses must have been built as well.
시시하다. 건배? 스타드. Beautiful.
Okay.
The boys say that they pass by here on their way to school every day. In fact, people trying to reach Amman have had to pass by here since the 7th century. This was the entrance to Amman. Inside the entrance can be found the faces of many ages. It was built like a relay over a long period of time.
근데 재미있는 것은 그 전에 있던 건축물들을 다 부시지 않고 다음 세대의 다음 문화 사람들이 들어와서도 그 모습들에서 자기네 문화만 살짝 융합해서 사용했다는 것입니다.
The Byzantine crosses mixed with Persian geometrical shapes and the Islamic style of the Umayyad dynasty. Why did conquerors not destroy the preceding civilization? The answer might be found in the Jordanian people's character. This is the morning market in Amman. The market is filled with fresh agricultural products. It is hard to believe that they came from a barren desert land. The animation of the market lightens my steps.
지금 양쪽에서 굉장히 웃소리들이 울려 퍼지니까 귀가 막 아프면서도 너무 재밌습니다. Hi. هذه شادر. اوكي. يا شو اسمك؟ أنا خالد. خالد. Yes.
Karak, who readily became my model, gives me a present.
제가 가져가려고 그때 주고 가려고 했는데 선물이라고 급고 가져가려고 합니다. 예, 감사합니다.
There are people who approach me first. They are not afraid of strangers.
아랍이라고 생각하면 어떻게 보면 약간 어두운 면을 보게 되기 때문에 좀 겁을 먹고 아랍은 좀 무서울 거야라는 생각을 할 수가 있는데 요르단에 와보면 일단 사람들이 정열적이고 굉장히 개방적이기 때문에 금방 친절함을 느껴서 친구가 될 수 있을 것 같은 그런 생각이 듭니다.
I was able to get rid of any stereotypical notions I had about Arabs during my stay in Jordan. I also learned more about Jordan's culture by spending time with them. This is a famous corner for Jordanians. You can always see people lined up to buy food.
This is to my wife. This is a nice sweet. Hamati is dying.
I'm sure that the sweet dessert will relay the man's love for his wife. Jordanian food is characterized by its strong taste. Kanafe is made with cheese, honey, and broken nuts. It has a strong, sweet taste. It is a typical Jordanian dessert. I was looking inside the busy store when the man I met before handed me a dish of kanafe. He offered me a taste of the Jordanian dessert.
طبعا عرب اجتماعيين يعني نحب نتعرف على بعضنا الكل بيحب بعضه يعني اخوه كلنا اخوه غير طبعا الاجانب طبعا الاجانب الكل بين لحاله بالعزال اما نحن هون عرب اجتماعيين كثير بنحب حياتنا اجتماعيه ضل مع بعض وهيك عائليه اكثر يعني من برا.
The Jordanians have been friendly to strangers ever since the time of desert fortresses. I must first go to Izraq to see one such place. Castles were built at regular intervals along Jordan's desert for Arabian merchants. Al-Harana Castle was also a resting place for merchants. It was built in this location because of a nearby oasis. The geological conditions affected the castle's location and architecture too.
마르고 형태로 지어서 이렇게 마주보고 섰을 때 바람이 양옆으로 퍼져나갈 수 있도록 그런 형태로 지어졌다고 해요. 굉장히 과학적이죠.
The 8th century castle was used for many purposes. It served as accommodation for wary merchants. It was a refuge for people awaiting trial. And it was also used as a strategic base during the war. People could forget their worries for a while regardless of the reason they sought shelter.
밖에는 바람이 많이 부는데 확실히 건물이라서 그런지 창이 없지만 안쪽으로 들어오니까 그늘진데도 불구하고 굉장히 따뜻한 느낌이 들고요. 실내에 들어와 있다는 느낌이 충분히 드네요.
Who was the first person to build castles in the desert? Umrah Castle remembers clearly who its owner is. It was built by the Islamic Umayyad dynasty. The fortress was used to rule the conquered land. The palace used to relieve tiredness was equipped with waiting rooms and baths. The murals in the waiting room tell of the early Islamic culture enjoyed by the Umayyad dynasty.
And you can see up the window some photo here, the people walk. This is how built the castle. The first class cut wood, second blacksmith, last for stone. And you can see two dancing, musician, guitar, musician. And this is many icons here. You can see in the middle. This is mixed culture, the Christian culture, Persian culture, Islamic culture, mixed culture.
The strict Islamic culture restricts pictorial expressions, but at this time paintings were drawn freely. The various ethnic group cultures from the desert are all depicted on the murals. This place was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because the murals contain detailed information on past ages.
Many culture here because the people here live these places before Islamics come. It was Christian and Greek. Many culture, many countries come to these places, and the people take it all the culture, and now we can see change or marks the culture of this.
The bath inside the waiting room follows the Roman architectural feature of drawing water using a pulley. The dressing rooms and hot, warm, and cold baths are all separate, and paintings of strength were placed here and there to prevent the spirit from becoming weak through taking baths. There is an interesting picture on the dome of the small room next to the bath. It is a zodiac. I wonder what stories people who shared a bath under the same sky had to tell each other.
다양한 문화가 섞여 있기 때문에 같이 호흡하고 같이 교류하고 목욕까지 같이 할 수 있을 만큼 굉장히 친밀한 유대 관계를 가지고 있었다고 볼 수 있겠습니다.
People must have become used to foreign cultures through interaction with others.
굉장히 독특해요.
The mixing of cultures is not only found in history. Jordan is one of the most open Islamic countries. It is even open to other religions. This is especially the case of Madaba.
마다바는 다른 곳에서 쉽게 볼 수 없는 그런 풍광을 볼 수 있는데요. 이쪽은 모스크가 있고요. 교회가 있습니다. 여기서 다른 지역에 비해서 교회를 많이 찾아볼 수 있는 곳으로 기독교인이 가장 많이 살고 있는 마을입니다.
It is interesting that Christians and Muslims can live together without conflict. Going back in time, Muslim and Christians were brothers, and they also shared many common characteristics.
ويحملها يعني كان مسيحي كان مسلم يعني بحمل المسبح هاي بسبح فيها.
The restaurant I went to for lunch also had scenes of Muslims and Christians enjoying their meals together.
Arabic name. Madaba was originally three Christian tribes. Azizat and Ma'aya and Karachi. Three Christian. We belong to the Karachi family.
In Jordan, you can tell a person's religion by his last name. The last name indicates the belief.
Omar Barishi, Muslim. Tharwat Yusuf, Muslim. Her brother Khalil Nunu, Christian. Heba Karachi, Christian.
Although they can tell that they are different beliefs, they enjoy meals at the same table.
In Jordan, religion doesn't matter. As long as we're friends, we come from the same social level, religion doesn't matter. In Jordan, there's a lot of places that have mixed religions, in families, in schools, in places outside and everything.
No, we don't have this as a major issue. I'm Christian and some of my best friends are Muslims, so it's fine as long as the person respects my religion. Fine.
Islam was introduced to Jordan in the 7th century. The churches are from the Byzantine era before that. The existing culture continued even after a new culture took root. Around 6% of Jordanians are still Christian. The church that was once damaged by earthquake houses the oldest map of the nation. It is the mosaic map under the carpet.
예배가 끝나자마자 관리인이 바닥에 깔려있던 카페트를 이렇게 접었는데요. 바닥에 굉장히 아름다운 모자이크가 나타났어요.
The mosaic map is estimated to have been made in the 6th century. Biblical contents were depicted visually to teach people who were illiterate when the Bible was rare. Only a third of the map remains, but Jerusalem remains intact.
It talks about the history and also the biblical stories, the biblical sites. It gives us, it's very important when we speak about, for example, geography, the Bible sites, the Exodus of Moses.
Here, كله my house. Okay. This is my son's house. البيت اللي أنا عايش فيه أنا.
An old man I met in the church invited me to his house.
هذا بيت ابني عريس. تفضل.
حلو كتير.
أنت حلو.
أنا بيتي حلو.
بيتك حلو؟ طيب.
Chai is black tea taken with sugar. It is a drink enjoyed by Jordanians.
지금까지 마셔본 것 중에 제일 맛있는 것 같아요.
كيف العادات عندكم؟ يونس أنت فلوس.
It seems like an obvious question, but Santa Claus might not be so well known in the culture here. Enjoying Christmas is an experience limited to Christians. The Christmas that this man spends probably has a different meaning from the ones I have known.
بيجوا الأصدقاء، بيجوا الأقرباء، بقول كل عام وأنت بخير، بنضيفهم حلوى، بنضيفهم قهوة. This is for you.
Oh, really?
Yes. Remember me.
선물로 이거 주셨어요.
Yes, yes.
I felt as though I'd met the Santa Claus of Jordan. This man's Christmas gift will remain in my heart.
색깔도 굉장히 예쁘고 신기합니다.
It is said that you can see Christian history from the top of Mount Nebo.
도보산 인근에 있는 높은 언덕인데요. 이곳에 올라가면 정상에서 건너편으로 사해바다가 내려다 보인다고 합니다. 가장 좋은 뷰가 있는 산이라고 하네요.
Like the beautiful scenery, Jordan's culture has been a celebration of peaceful coexistence. The next day, I went to al-Rasas. Al-Rasas developed when a new road was created.
People come to this place because it was on the King's Highway, so they can make business. So they had houses, they had shops, they gave protection, they give food for everybody, and then they became...
Only ruins remain on the once prosperous city, but history records how well developed it was. The King's Highway was a trade route stretching from Syria's capital Damascus to Amman and Aqaba. This highway needed to be passed to reach Egypt or Saudi Arabia. As more people traveled along the King's Highway, the city developed and the road became safer to travel. The city that shared its fate with the King's Highway contains remains of Roman, Byzantine, and early Islamic culture. I think of how the people must have lived based on these limited remains.
이곳에 아치 형태의 기둥들이 있는 걸 보면 이곳에 건물들과 집들이 있었다는 걸 알 수 있습니다. 그 당시 사람들이 얼마큼 많은 양이 왔다 갔다 했는지 그런 것들을 떠올려 보면 그 당시도 굉장히 발달한 도시가 아니었나 그런 생각이 듭니다.
I found a house that looked intact.
두 개의 지금 출입구가 보이니까 높이는 거의 비슷한 것 같고요. 이쪽 거의 원형이 그대로 남아있는 지하 벙커 같은 시설이 있습니다. 시원할 것 같은데 한번 내려가 볼까?
I stepped in through what seemed to be a door and discovered a larger space than I had expected. Once inside the house, I understood its structure.
이쪽이 출입구가 아닌 것 같네요. 높이가 좀 상당히 높고 무너져 버린 좀 느낌이 들고요. 저쪽이 문의 형태를 갖추고 있고 실제 크기로 봐도 저쪽이 출입구가 맞는 것 같습니다. 제가 잘못 들어왔네요.
The house owner must have come inside to avoid the hot sun. He would have invited his friends over from time to time.
굉장히 옛날에 지어진 건물인데도 불구하고 이렇게 아치 형태로 먼저 기둥을 만들고 그 위에 큰 돌로 지지대를 만들고 그 위에 흙을 쌓아서 그런지 지금 봐도 굉장히 튼튼해 보입니다. 예전에 이곳이 지금 집으로 사용됐다고들 추측을 하고 있는데 사람들이 살기에도 건조하지 않고 습하지 않아서 부족하지 않는 것 같습니다.
I decided to go out through the hallway, as the original residents must have done. But it was more difficult than I thought because of the crumbling rocks.
어지간히 날씬하지 않으면 들어갔다가 거기가 쉽지 않을 것 같습니다.
Excavation is still ongoing here. The mosaic map created during the Byzantine period was buried here for a long time. The map is used to trace ancient history.
되게 아름답네요.
This is the Nile.
Nile River?
In Egypt, yes. 10 cities in Egypt. You can see them. 8 cities in Palestine over there. 8 cities. Jerusalem, Sebastia, Caesarea. You have Gaza here.
The 8th century map remains intact, except for the parts that were intentionally damaged. Because it used different colored stones cut into small pieces, it lasted longer than paintings that fade. Thanks to the map, we can see the characteristics of the cities of a few centuries ago.
So this was used as a source of information. We know about these cities now and the old names of these cities. Even if you look at the details, they represent how the city was. Like Umrah, you see the picture? Madaba, the churches, you see the churches, and also the other cities of Jordan. They represent all the details.
The prosperous cities were closely linked to the King's Highway. Karak Castle was an important crossways. Many people fought to overcome this place, but Karak Castle was hard to conquer. It was a natural fortress located in the highlands at an altitude of 1,000 meters.
와, 경사가 굉장히 가파른데요. 그 당시 저 위에까지 돌을 어떻게 놔놨을까요? 지금 기술이 이렇게 발전한 시대에도 버스가 오르락내리락 할 때 상당히 힘들어하거든요. 근데 그 당시에 사람이 인력으로 말을 이용했다고 하더라도 저렇게 큰 성을 쌓았다는 건 정말 믿기지 않을 정도네요. 처음부터 선 끝에까지 원래 전체에 다 성으로 연결돼 있었기 때문에 그 당시 얼마나 크게 지었었는지 지금 실감이 납니다. 굉장히 커요.
The current castle was rebuilt by the Crusaders. Previously, Karak had also been the capital city of the ancient Moab kingdom. Since ancient times, the castle has been surrounded by cliffs on 3 sides, and the only way to reach it was up this hill. How much further do I have to climb? I asked this question to a Jordanian on the street. I walked a long way, and finally Karak Castle appeared before my eyes. I entered the impregnable fortress. I could see the King's Highway that connected Syria and Egypt, all at a glance.
저 끝으로 가면 암만이 나오고요. 이쪽으로 가면 마다바가 나오는데 그 왕의 대로를 통과하기 위해서 이곳을 지나야 됐거든요. 그래서 이 성은 그 중심 대로를 잇는 굉장한 중요한 도시였고 이 성을 함락해야만 이곳에서 굉장히 원활하게 교류할 수 있었기 때문에 굉장히 의미가 있었다고 생각합니다.
The ancient kingdom's castle was rebuilt as a fortress by the Crusaders during the 12th century. The Crusaders stopped the Arab countries from reaching the Mediterranean Sea. This is an observation window on the arched path inside. The inside of the window is wide and the outside is narrow.
이 틈이 굉장히 넓어 보이지만 안쪽에서 밖을 쏘는 거는 이 집중에 대해서 굉장히 타격률이 좋아요. 근데 밖에서 이쪽을 쐈을 때는 거의 맞추지 못할 것 같은데요. 밑을 정확하게 향해서 쏠 수 있을 것 같아요.
The castle was designed to withstand attack from outside. It was built as a city so that problems of food supply and living necessities were solved. There are traces of a manger in the next room.
돌 가장 아래쪽에 이 양쪽으로 관통되어 있는 홈이 파여 있는데요. 그 당시에 이쪽 터널을 안으로 들어와서 말을 이쪽에 묶어뒀다고 합니다.
The castle is blocked off by a high wall and a moat, so you could only enter via the drawbridge. Sometimes the door was left open on purpose.
They will lift up the bridge, so there's no way to come back. And then they will enter right here. All right? They will find nothing. They will be panicked. And the other army will come from here, the protectors. So the enemies will have one choice, is to run through this door, which is a trap, actually.
The enemies, taken aback by not being able to find the exit, would actually run into the prison.
All right, close the door.
This natural fortress was finally conquered by Saladin, who led the Muslim world to independence.
거의 난공불락 수준이라고 할 수 있는데요. 아이러니하게도 이 성이 함락이 살라딘의 여동생의 지혜로 시작됐다는 건 굉장히 아이러니합니다.
The King's Highway decided the fate of many cities. The owners of the road have changed with time, but its stories still live on today. Jordan created a mysterious civilization and a history we did not know well. It built a city by carving out rocks in the desert, and it decided on the direction of life according to the water flow. Jordan's natural landscape has held the stories of its people for thousands of years and continues to share them with us today. Their deep stories flow freely through this land, carried along on the sandy wind.
Story belongs to you.